Tesla is not just known for their performance and safety, they're also known for their technology. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down what Autopilot is, as well as the full self-driving package for $10,000 to let you guys know if it's worth paying that extra cost. If you guys really want to know if full self-driving is worth it, then stay tuned. What is up, guys? It's Chris with Everydaychris, and welcome back to my channel, the #1 place for Tesla, tech, and everyday life. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and like the video if you're wondering about Tesla's full self-driving features. I'm sure you already know, but Tesla has something called Autopilot. It's pretty much cruise control on steroids. It does a great job of maintaining the speed in front of the vehicle as well as staying in the lane. I mean, a really good job. However, for a small payment of $10,000, you can upgrade to full self-driving. Or you can use the subscription method and pay for the full self-driving fee monthly. And it seems like a great idea for people who don't seem too confident with full self-driving, but still want to make their road trips easier. With the full self-driving package, the real fun begins, and is the reason why I purchased the Tesla. Before we go into too much detail, Tesla has gotten into trouble for labeling their full self-driving as actually full self-driving, when in reality it isn't. However, compared to all the other car manufacturers out there today, it's really good. Their full self-driving feature changes lanes for you, enters and exits the freeway for you, and stops at stop signs and signal lights for you. And with their smart summon feature, it even comes to you in the parking lot. With the most advanced technology comes the most advanced idiots. There's so many stories of drivers dying or sleeping on the wheel because they thought their full self-driving feature was actually full self-driving. And yes, it works. It works well. However, I would never not pay attention and risk the lives of my passengers as well as myself, because their software is far from perfect.
Pretty sure it's not going to do well here.
Now turn left onto Jamboree Road.
So just a quick disclaimer, this video is for information purposes only. If I ever have my hands off the wheel, it's for demonstration purposes only, and it's not meant to replace actual driving. And if it doesn't seem like I'm paying attention, my passenger is paying attention to the road. Also, always pay attention to the road and your surroundings and keep your hand on the wheel. Now, the question I get from a lot of people is, what is the difference between the full self-driving package and the Autopilot? The free Autopilot is like cruise control with auto steering. Stays in the lanes and maintains the distance and speed in front of a car. It's an easy feature to enable and use. With Tesla, anything that's blue means that it's activated. Now, to enable the cruise control version of Autopilot, you simply have to press down once. And it'll show the cruise control here. So it's 72 speed limit. So keep the speed in front of the car. When you see this gray steering wheel icon, that's when you can engage the auto steer, which is an awesome feature to have. That one, you simply have to press the gear stalk down twice lightly. So a lot of people, when they do it, they go all the way down like that, which you can do, no problem. However, it does take a lot more effort. So down twice, very lightly, and it engaged. So pretty much Autopilot is just cruise control with steering, which is great for most people because it still stays in the lanes, and it's great for traffic or road trips. While you're on Autopilot, you can adjust the speed manually with the right scroll wheel, go slowly to change the speed by 1, and go fast to change the speed by 5. You can also set it to adjust the speed based on what the camera sees when it passes a speed sign by pressing the speed sign. Another thing you can do is set the default offset speed when you have cruise control on when it sees a speed sign. Fixed means if the speed limit is 50 miles per hour and you set it to 5 miles per hour, when cruise control is engaged, the speed will start at 55 miles per hour. This is great for people like myself who like to go 5 or 10 miles over the speed limit. So what I love is the percentage, and it tells you right below here. So 35, 40, 65, 75. And if you go lower, 13%, 65 will be 73 miles per hour. So I ended up kind of sticking with 15 or 14%. So 35 would be 40 and 65 would be 74 miles per hour. So when you engage your cruise control, that's the speed it'll start at, 14% of whatever the speed is. So if the speed is 65, it'll start at 74. You can also receive a notification as a chime or on display if you go above the speed limit in relative or absolute speed. Pretty much what that means is with relative, it's related to the current speed limit and will notify you if you go 10 miles per hour above the speed limit. Absolute just means that no matter what, if you go above a certain speed, say 80 miles per hour, it will let you know that you're going above 80 miles per hour. This is great to have on because Teslas go fast and it's whisper quiet. Sometimes I don't even realize I'm speeding. With auto steer, it does a great job at staying in the lane. The car stays in the lane as well as maintains the speed on its own, and this is a feature that works so well on Teslas compared to other vehicles, and it's great for traffic or road trips. However, it's not always the best and sometimes won't see the lines or doesn't realize it's going too fast, which is why you always have to be paying attention to take over. There's also something called phantom braking, where it brakes thinking there's something there when really there's nothing there. One thing I do want to mention that the free autopilot is literally like cruise control. It will not stop at stop signs or signal lights. It only maintains the current speed as well as stays in the lane if there is a car in front of the vehicle. One thing that pops up while you're on autopilot, if it doesn't feel any force from the steering wheel, is what we like to call steering nag. It's made to make sure you're paying attention with your hands on the wheel. You'll see a notification with the blue blinking bar at the top, telling you to apply slight steering force to the wheel. This just means if the wheel is moving, you hold the steering wheel steady so it feels the counter force. If you ignore these warnings, it will blink rapidly and eventually stop the car, as well as inform you to take over and lock you and put you in Tesla jail so you can't use autopilot for the remainder of the trip. Now I hate this nag, not because I'm not responsible or anything, but because it's constantly showing up, and whenever I try to stop the nag, I always end up disengaging the auto steer. I think my fingers are too strong. Another way that works most of the time is to move the scroll wheel up or down, changing the speed by 1. However, for me sometimes this doesn't work, and I can see it not working in the future in a future software update, just to make sure that the driver is paying attention. What really works for me is using a counterweight. It pretty much mimics the force of your hand, eliminating the nag most of the time. But this is the definition of a double-edged sword and a can of worms. It can be a very dangerous object to have, and if you decide to purchase one of these counterweights, make sure you're still paying attention while you're driving with your eyes on the road. But pretty much the counterweight helps prevent the nag from appearing every 30 seconds. If you're the type of person that's easily distracted on your phone or you feel like you can't pay attention, definitely do not purchase this item. For us, we mostly use it on long road trips because we end up going to NorCal all the time. The one I got was from Amazon and it's held by magnets. It works well, but you can tell it's there and it's super noticeable. A company who sells Tesla accessories, Freshener, reached out to me and gave me their counterweight version to test out and try. I love how minimalistic it looks, and it snaps onto the back of the steering wheel and clips to the right of the steering wheel. Overall, it works great. However, one thing I noticed is when you remove it after a while, it leaves a pretty good indent on the steering wheel. I had it on for over a month, and I wanted to see if the indent would go away, or if it permanently damaged my steering wheel. After a few days, it's safe to say that the steering wheel does go back and the mark is gone. Overall, it's great to have, just make sure you're responsible and safe if you decide to use it. Now you would think turning autopilot on and off would be super easy. And for the most part it is. However, one thing I did see happening a few times, which I could see being a potential future accident, was when you're disengaging the auto steer by moving the steering wheel, it doesn't disengage the autopilot. What that means is your cruise control is still engaged and it's still going to try to maintain a set speed, even though you're turning. So let's say I was trying to avoid the car from making a bad turn with the auto steer and disengage the auto steer. The car is still going to accelerate. And yes, the safety features are still on, so if it senses an object, it'll still brake. However, it's a super scary feeling when you're accelerating into a turn, thinking that the auto steer and autopilot turn off. The only way to turn off the cruise control and the auto steer is by simply braking and by pressing up lightly on the gear stalk. Now, let's talk about the current $10,000 upgrade to see if full self-driving is worth it. So per Tesla's website, what's included in full self-driving is navigate on autopilot, which actively guides your car from a highway's on-ramp to off-ramp, including suggesting lane changes, navigating interchanges, automatically engaging the turn signal, and taking the correct exit. This is super worth it. The Tesla can help me recommend lane changes when I'm on a route, especially if I don't know which lane to be in on a certain freeway. And it can also recommend lane changes if the car in front of me is going too slow, which is awesome. There's 2 lanes for the carpool, and 1 lane wants to go to the 405 carpool and 22 carpool. And it wants us to follow the route, but Google Maps doesn't really say anything. But because we have Navigate on Autopilot, which is the $10,000 upgrade, it knows to stay onto the 22 east is on this left lane. Auto lane change. Assist in moving to an adjacent lane on the highway when auto steer is engaged. This also works on city streets, and it's awesome to know that the Tesla can change lanes for you, so you don't have to worry too much about changing lanes. However, I am still looking at the side mirrors to make sure no one comes into my blind spot. On a 2,000-mile road trip, it didn't mess up once when changing lanes, and it really eliminated the driver fatigue of having to look over and change lanes all the time. Oh look, a parallel parking space. I should let the Tesla park for me.
Okay, didn't work. Oh well.
Auto park helps automatically parallel or perpendicular park your car with a single touch. I found this super glitchy, and I looked like a ding-a-ling when I found a parking spot and I had to reverse and go forward many times because the parking sensor wouldn't indicate that there was a parking spot available. Finally, 10 times the charm, guys. Definitely not worth the $10,000. That was so close. This is like the definition. It should be able to do it, no problem.
Yeah.
Oh my God, looks like it's gonna hit the
Gosh.
car.
A few moments later.
Just go. I think it's gonna do it. Finally. 10th time the charm. Oh God. Alright. What? It didn't even finish it. Why? Auto park aborted. Oh my God. If you're gonna get the $10,000 upgrade for the auto park, don't get it. Not worth it at all. There, now I parked. Summon moves your car in and out of a tight space using the mobile app or key. I use this all the time since I'm too grande to get in and out of the car in our tight garage. Next, let's talk about customized summon. Now, there's a special feature that you can do where you can actually double press on the gear stalk here. And I'm gonna double press this. And then you'll see this. Choose direction, auto park will start after you exit the car. You can go forward or backwards. Smart Summon. Your car will navigate more complex environments and parking spaces, maneuvering around objects as necessary to come find you in a parking lot. This is more of a party trick and I found that it made a ton of mistakes. However, it does work pretty well. But I ended up never using it after I had too many close calls and people honking at the car. Traffic and stop sign control. Identify stop signs and traffic lights and automatically slows your car to a stop on approach with your active supervision. This works great on local city streets and always stops for red lights and stop signs. Upcoming auto steer on city streets. This is meant to be just like navigate on autopilot on the highway, but instead it's on city streets where it navigates you to your destination so you don't really have to put your hands on the wheel and drive yourself. And right now it's currently being tested with certain Tesla drivers with their FSD 9 package. And it is still in beta and I've seen a couple of videos on it. And although it is pretty awesome, it still needs a little bit of work. With that being said, if you don't have $10,000 to spend on the self-driving package, I say wait. Or you can simply try it out on your next road trip with their subscription model. If your Tesla is older than 2019, it will cost $200 a month. And if your Tesla is newer, it would be $100 a month. And honestly, it's not cheap, but it is cheaper than paying the $10,000 upgrade right away. However, as you know, Tesla is always changing their prices. It could be $100 today and $150 tomorrow. Especially when the demand goes up, their full self-driving package and their subscription will probably be more expensive. All I can say is the full self-driving package made our road trip amazing and super easy. So easy that I'd be willing to take another 2,000-mile road trip or longer again in Daddy Chill. Overall, it's up to you, but I hope this video really helped you on figuring out if full self-driving is worth it. Anyways, thanks for watching my video, guys. If you guys are considering a Tesla, make sure you guys use my referral link for 1,000 free supercharger miles. And I'll see you guys next week.